Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now we are back continuing our podcasts from last time, finishing up with the other two movies that we saw that day. Before we dive into those, we actually got a special early access screening to the movie Novocaine, just as we suspected. Almost a full 2 weeks before it came out. Okay, we saw that on Monday, the 3rd of March, and it doesn't come out until the 14th of March. So quite a big jump. Usually when we see mystery movies, it's just stuff that comes out later that week. But we actually saw it quite a bit in advance. So we're jumping the gun here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll be following up with Paddington in Peru. The third and I'm pretty sure final movie in the Paddington series.
It feels like it.
Feels like it. And then we'll be wrapping up today with The Unbreakable Boy, the newest Zachary Levi movie. So, are we ready, Isaac?
Yeah, I am all ready. I got all my stuff.
Awesome. That being said, guys, be sure to subscribe because it really helps out the channel. Be sure to use the timestamps below to skip around to whatever movies you like, or just jump straight to the rankings if that's all you care about. But without further ado, let's get rolling straight into our first movie of the night, Novocaine. Take it away, Isaac.
When the girl of his dreams gets kidnapped, a man turns his inability to feel pain into an unexpected advantage as he fights a bunch of thugs to get her back. That is a great descriptor of this movie.
Right. So Novocaine kind of falls into the John Wick category of movie where where a group of bad guys fuck with the wrong guy and then like the one guy single-handedly takes down their entire organization. But it kind of throws a wrench into the cliche when it's really what Novocaine is it's a rom-com protagonist being thrown into a John Wick action movie. Because he's definitely not like a secret retired badass or anything. Like he's literally just a guy who has a nerve disorder. So he's literally quite literally just bumbling his way through this entire like rescue mission, and he's just like super clumsy every step of the way. So it's got that kind of like endearingness to it.
Yeah,
and it worked.
It's really nice because like at no point did I sit here thinking about the fact that because like the whole point that the movie like stresses at the beginning is he's super careful because of his condition, and like the moment that this person who changed his life, this like is in trouble, he throws all of that immediately out the window to save her, and so. The moments where he like grabbing the frying pan that's like scalding hot and like hitting the guy with it, like it makes sense. Like at no point do I find it unbelievable the level of like skill he has, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just that he's able to do stuff they're not just because he can't feel pain. But like it doesn't.
Well, yeah, because he's able to push his limits because he also can't feel things like his pain isn't slowing him down. Yeah. So which is a 90% of what slows people down when they're in a fight is like pain on top of exhaustion. But he only would have, and he wouldn't even have half the effects of exhaustion either because of not being able to feel like hot or cold or anything like that. So it doesn't feel weird that he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, because like it's all the stuff is like totally feasible. It's just like it's just stuff where the bad guys look at him and just like, how are you not like in pain from that. Like that was like he grabs the hot stove, like the pan off a hot stove, and smacks him with it, and then he grabs the gun out of the deep fryer and shoots him, and like stuff like
Yeah.
that, where it's like it's just sorry, normal people can't do that because of the effect, but
Yeah.
it's like he just doesn't care about the effects.
Honestly, the only unbelievable thing in this movie is that he doesn't die of blood loss before the end of it. That's literally
Yeah,
the only
pretty
unbelievable thing.
much.
Like the rest of it, I can find totally feasible.
Yeah.
Like his body doesn't pass out from shock.
Yeah.
But so the action in this movie is fucking phenomenal. It's so
Oh
well
yeah,
done.
I agree. There
Like
was a lot of
I loved every action sequence in this whole movie. And it's really good because like I said earlier, because he doesn't have like the skills that like John Wick has, it's not like oh he immediately switches from one thing to another. It's like he just sees something that looks like it would work and he just
yeah.
goes for it. Like the scene it's in the trailer where he like just he gets thrown into a mirror and then he just smashes the glass into his hands so he
Hmm.
uses them like freaking improvised weapons. Like he deals slashing damage with his punches now. And he
Yeah.
just like slashes at the guy. Like, oh, that makes sense because he's just like, oh, I could do this, and then he just does it because he's not even thinking about himself. That's the other thing that's really nice about this is that at no point does he actually seem to care about his own safety?
Yeah.
Like he's just giving it all to try and save the girl that he loves. And
Yeah,
that's a
which is
really
nice.
cool yeah, it's a really cool thing. Jack Quaid fucking is awesome.
He was a very good cast for this. He plays that kind of like awkward humor pretty well.
Yes, very much so.
And with his like background in The Boys, it's not like super disconnecting to see him in a kind of action role,
Yeah, and
even though
honestly,
he's
even in
absolutely not built for it at all.
no, and that's the best part about him is that like I don't want to see a Jack Quaid action movie where he actually decimates all these guys. Like I want
Unless
more of this shit.
he like pulls a Bill Skarsgård and gets like amazingly cut for no reason.
Yeah. Like he just like unless he puts in the work, he works really well as someone who
Yeah.
is just kind of figuring things out.
In his acting evolution, Jack Quaid is in his Jim from The Office phase right now, and not quite in his Jack Ryan phase right now.
There you go. I think eventually he'll hit there though. Like
He
he'll
could,
eventually
yeah.
hit a point.
I could see a shitty Apple TV Plus show with Jack, like a 40-year-old Jack Quaid as a like a FBI enforcer or some shit like that.
That
I
would
could see
be.
that
I would.
happening.
You know, he would do fairly decently in that type of role of like an FBI agent, but like he's the worst one in the department. Like in other guys, but it's Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. You had your thing that you said in the theater. About Jack Quaid. That he's you said he's one of he's one of the few nepo
Oh yeah.
babies that you're actually like okay with.
Yeah, cause like most of the time it's just like, okay, this person's only in the movie because their dad is M. Night Shyamalan, okay, and then but like with Jack Quaid, he's actually like entertaining on screen and like he could act his way around a role. I mean, most of his roles have kind of been just like the same guy, but like at least it's serviceable.
Yeah. So
I actually don't
anyway,
mind it.
we've talked enough about like all the normal stuff about this movie. Like the plot is like razor thin, honestly.
Yeah, it is
Like
quite, but like
it's definitely a an action movie at first and foremost.
yeah.
Mixed
They
with a rom-com.
I feel bad for the people who didn't know what this movie was going to be because it was a mystery movie because it
Yeah.
quite
Oh, hold on. You cut out.
Stuff and
You said it's quite, and then it cut out.
it is quite like a rom-com at the beginning. Like I want to say for at least the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then she gets kidnapped at the bank, and then he follows one guy into the kitchen and then shoots him in the head. And I saw one guy grab all his stuff and leave the theater after that.
Really?
But,
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, no, I caught that. And then there was like two ladies that left in the middle of the movie, like after this was well established to be what it was. So I didn't know what their problem was.
Yeah.
But we'll get
It was really.
We'll get to the people in the theater in a minute. We need to talk about the movie first and foremost.
Yeah. First off, when it started, we were literally sitting there and we're like, yeah. Like we have been so psyched for this movie, and to get it 2 weeks early, fucking phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
that's so good. This movie, as we established, I think in the last podcast, I am famous for a noise. When something happens on screen, or like the screen tilts in a weird way, I'll just go like, huh? Or if something grosses me out, I'll just do it.
It bugs the shit out of me that you do that, but
I know it does. This movie had so many moments that made me almost actually like vomit from that. Like,
you were nowhere near vomiting.
okay, but it got to the point where I went to go do the noise because it triggered that, and no noise came out. It literally went. That was it. I didn't get, nothing came out. It involuntarily came out of me. Like, it was. There's a lot of gruesome shit in this movie.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing that they did in there is there's a scene where Jack Quaid's character is going through a house and he steps on like a booby trap and he gets a crossbow bolt embedded in his leg, like sticking through his leg, and then the arrowhead comes out like the other side of his thigh. And when he's fighting with someone else later on, he lifts up his thigh and he jabs the arrow tip into the side of his head, and then he like squeezes his head like between his knees, right? And then he smashes onto the back of the arrow so that it goes through his leg, through the guy's head, and then out and into and out his other leg. Like he's literally got a leg shish kebab on his body, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, this movie is.
Yeah, they don't shy away from the brutality of some of the stuff that happens in this.
The worst one was the final one, honestly. Actually, because like, there's even a part where that same guy before that fight is torturing him, and he like prompts the guy to do it, so that way he's trying to buy time for someone to show up and save him. And fucking the guy just starts ripping his fingernails off. That is one thing. Like, sure, people's teeth falling out, ripping someone's teeth out. I've seen that enough where it's not like, that looks painful, whatever, fine. Ripping your fingernails off is just, it's so visceral looking. And like, I've seen, like, one time when I was younger, my stepmom got her finger caught in like a rolled up window, and like I watched as her nail like got to a point where she had to like take it off, and so she had no nail there, and like she was in considerable pain for a long time, because you don't think of how long it takes for a full ass nail to grow back, because like your nails grow back quick.
Yeah.
No, it takes a while. And that's like, that one was probably one of the worst ones for me, actually. The last one was very, very bad, but like ripping the fingernails off was that was a no-fly zone for me. Holy shit. But the other thing is I can't believe, like, we've seen so many movies with romance protagonists, like romance as a subplot or whatever, that we've brought this up so many times recently. But it felt like a couple.
Yeah, you bought the chemistry. There's definitely a lot of movies that you don't. It's just like, why? There's no reason for any of these characters to ever, feel anything towards each other. I don't buy it.
Yeah,
But no,
I don't buy this relationship.
they did enough setup in the beginning where it felt natural, it felt like deserved, and like it gave you like a solid reason to why he would want to go rescue her
Yeah.
so
Like
badly.
it's really interesting cuz the plot basically is the setup is that this dude can't feel anything and he's being extremely cautious about it, about his life.
Mhm.
And he meets this one person who literally opens his eyes to the world. Like she gets him to try pie. And like that moment was great. I loved that entire moment
Mhm.
because like he eats it and he's like, "Holy fuck, that's pie? Like that's what pie is? That's
Yeah.
awesome." Like I loved that. That was great.
Yeah, it
Uh
had a lot of like sweet tender moments in it. Like and it was enough that you weren't like overly sickened by it and it like didn't like completely derail the movie from what it was. Like it actually added to it and helped it that much.
yeah. Uh Overall, a, just a really good action movie. I can't. It's not. We can't go too deep into this because it's like a lot of the good part of the movie is seeing all the shit because
Mhm.
we've barely scratched the surface here. We've said maybe four things that happen, and like those aren't even the worst.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty bad, but like not the actual like oh. This movie was just very good from very entertaining from beginning to end.
I agree. With that being said, I think we should roll into the rankings and plug this in. Uh, I'm going to give this a very high 7 out of 10. It is very much a turn your brain off and enjoy some stupid action. Uh, the comedy was absolutely there. Like, it's really easy to fuck up action comedy, but I
Yeah.
think this one delivered very well on both aspects of that genre. So, very good. Highly recommend. It is very fun.
Yeah. I am also going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was just so much fun. I enjoyed every minute of this. Now, granted, part of that could be just the excitement we felt, like like the anticipation we had for this movie.
Yeah,
But
we say it's a 7 out of 10 now, and then they come out with like pitch meeting or whatever, and then it shows you like it's 21 Rotten Tomato score. And then they're
yeah.
like, was it that bad? And then we watch it again. You're like, oh yeah.
No,
That's
I
happened
feel
before.
like
That's happened
I
before.
cannot I cannot wait to traumatize Alex with this movie. Cuz we are. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I can't wait for this to
uh,
end up in the $5 Walmart bin, dude.
hey, if I can cop this movie for $5, that would be a fucking treat.
It's true. All right. Moving into our next movie of the night, we have a nice little family movie out of ye old Britain. We have
Mhm.
Paddington 3, Paddington in Peru.
When Paddington discovers his beloved aunt has gone missing from the home for retired bears, he and the Brown family head to the jungles of Peru to find her. Determined to solve the mystery, they soon stumble across the legendary treasure as they make their way through the rainforests of the Amazon.
Okay, yeah. Kids movie, it's this and that. It was nice and cute and all that. Isaac, go ahead and bitch about the one thing you've been dying to bitch about and that you have been bitching about this movie since we saw it. Go ahead.
I don't like that they recast the mom because it kind of undercuts some really sweet moments. Now, I understand, like, not like if you're busy, like if you're an actor and you can't reprise the role because you have other like things like that, that's fine. But like you have other things that you're doing. the only reason the woman who played the mom didn't want to come back is because she felt like she was done with the role. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, you sign on to be a part of a movie
Hey,
like this. I'm sorry, you like the whole point of it is that they are a family, and it kind of undercuts the whole point of it when the mom, who by the way is like the main reason why Paddington is even a part of this family in the first place. Like I maybe get recasting like a dad or something, or maybe one of the kids. But like the mom is one of the big, like, she's the person that Paddington is like closest to in this family unit. And like there's even a scene in the movie where it flashes back to when they found him, like when they first met him. And that scene in the first movie is really sweet. I love that scene a lot. Like I really do. But they can't use the entire scene because they can't show the mom's face because it's a different fucking person. And like it kind of undercut all the sweet moments when they talk about the past that the family had.
so
It kind of sucks.
Isaac's official stance on this scenario is that you don't get to walk away from the project if the content machine decides that you're still valuable and they can squeeze a couple more bucks out of your labor. You are obligated morally and legally to still be in the movie.
Yes,
Because I'll tell you something, this movie didn't need to happen. It could have just stopped after the second one.
it could have. Yes, the
Well,
second
there you
one could have
go.
just been the end. Like
There you go.
I
I
will
don't
admit
think there
that
needs to
the
be a
thing I like,
3-1, so I'm
the
not
thing
gonna.
I, the, yeah, like it didn't need the third one. The
You don't know what
second
her
movie,
reasons were.
well, literally the second movie came out almost a decade ago.
Yeah,
It came out
exactly.
8 years ago. Like again, I can understand wanting to walk away from the role, and like that's not the person you like if you've matured as an actor or whatever. Like and you don't want that on there.
Or maybe she
Whatever,
just wants to
fine.
be with her family. She didn't give any reason. She just said like, "No, I would not want to be in the movie." And you know
She
what? She
said
doesn't have to
she
be.
said she said for me it has felt the right time to hand the reins over to another.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Okay, she could have like 100 reasons. Like maybe there was,
I just really
interpersonal problems.
she worked really well as the mom. I didn't really like it. They felt like an actual
Isaac,
family in the first two
Isaac,
movies, and this just didn't feel that way.
counterpoint. If you saw the first two Paddington movies when they came out instead of the day before we went to go see the third one, I highly doubt you even would have noticed. Because all British people look exactly the same.
I would have noticed the mom was different. You know me, I have a thing for faces.
Okay. I would not have. They would all look identical.
I do like that they got the kids to come back for this though. Like that's kind of cool.
I would have called out like, how dare they replace the kids with two other kids 10 years older than the last ones.
Well, they didn't because they're the same kids.
I know that's the joke.
Fair.
Movie's all right. Movie's all right.
Movie.
It's a kids movie, so it's you can't get too much acclaim. Antonio Banderas.
Oh yeah, I always
I
love
like
seeing
Antonio
Antonio Banderas.
Banderas.
I
He's
love
a good
seeing him
guy.
in movies.
I like his movies. He was the dad on Spy Kids.
He
Yeah.
was. Yes. I like I'm sorry. I really like Antonio Banderas. Like I always will.
You're
Like
sorry?
he's just I don't know why I said that. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
I don't know why you said
Uh
that. All right. I'm not
uh
sorry. I love Antonio Banderas.
nah, he's a really good actor. It's always fun to see him in movies that have like a slight action component.
Yeah. He
And
plays a
that's what I
good
like about
he plays a
Yeah, go ahead.
good silly villain.
Yes, he really does. And he's a very believable like protagonist as well.
Hmm.
Like he's a very good one. Like in the Spy Kids movies, where like Antonio Banderas falls into an interesting category of actor.
In that, like, I know he's really good at acting, but I've only seen him in kids' movies and have never seen him in anything serious.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like I know
I'm
he.
just now realizing that. I don't
Yeah.
know
He falls
what
into a
he's
very.
like.
He was in Zorro. I only know that he was in Zorro. I think he was Zorro. I'm fairly certain he was Zorro. And like
Journey to
the only.
Bethlehem?
Yeah, that's the only thing. But even then,
This-
he's playing Herod, who is kind of a
And it's not
like
even like a serious
yeah
iteration of the story, so it's still kind of silly and kind of
yeah
for kids because it's a musical. So, like, what the?
yeah. Like it's weird.
What is he
Like
actually in when he's being serious?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think he's been in anything super serious since like the early 2000s.
We'll have to find something.
Like he was in like almost everything I've seen him in is pretty like silly. Cuz he was
Yeah,
he was even the bad guy. Wasn't he the fucking pirate
it was
in
Burger Beater.
yeah. Like
Burger Beater.
he's just in a bunch of silly shit. It's kind of
He
funny.
he's in a bunch of silly shit. Okay,
I like him.
and we love him, and we love him
We
for
do.
it.
But anyway, I like Paddington because Paddington falls into this category of family movie. Everyone can enjoy something about
Yeah.
this movie. Like like you can take the whole family to go see it and everyone will have something to take away from it.
Oh, Grandma would love this shit.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like nowadays it's a little it's coming back. It's
It
being
is.
very nice to see it coming back because for the
We're entering a
longest time,
golden age of decent kids movies where the
yeah,
entire family can actually enjoy it instead of it just being loud nonsense for kids.
DC Super Pets.
Ugh, trolls. The upcoming Smurfs movie, which we're going to go see because we need something for the
Ugh.
bottom of the list.
That's the worst part about that. The worst part about that one is that no, the worst part about that one, I can already call it right here, is that we're making these points. There's stuff for the kids and there's stuff for like the adults. The jokes they're going to make for the adults are going to be so fucking ham-fisted that it doesn't matter. Like it's gonna be so boring. Like the fucking DoorDash joke they make in the
Yeah,
movie.
what like
Where-
5-year-old watching the Smurfs movie is gonna understand the DoorDash joke? Like,
Yeah. Like they're doing that so that's in
please
there
stop.
solely because like it's not even a tongue-in-cheek thing. It's just ha, adult joke. But not really cuz it's whatever. Like I don't know. But it
Dude,
so
just
to,
go
to bring
watch
it
the
back around,
original Smurf show. They got fucking Gorgonzola the Wizard. He's trying to eat the Smurfs.
that's the other thing about that is that they're inventing two completely new characters that have never once existed ever.
It's baffling me that
Yeah.
you think it's just two. But
True. Fair. But to bring it back to Paddington, that's why I really like these movies. It's just fun family entertainment and there is like a very obvious algorithm for the movie as well. But it works. Like the action is very silly. Like it has moments of silly action, moments where like oh, they're in trouble, but you know everything's going to be fine because it's Paddington.
yeah.
And like I love I may be alone in this. I love the hard stare bit. I
Yeah, it's
actually
alright.
do. I find it really cute because my favorite part about it is he has that like serious face and everyone reacts the same way to it. And then like he has that as he's explaining it and then he just like immediately softens up. and it's really nice. I actually quite like that. I find it kind of funny.
If I could find a word that perfectly describes the Paddington movies, I think it would be appropriate.
Yes,
The movies are very appropriate, and
that
that
is an
might be just
excellent word.
that might be because they're British, so they're all about the
True.
manners. But it's also like, they don't, it's just it's like I wouldn't have any kid that would have a problem watching this.
True, and honestly, I can't think of very many people that would have a problem watching this.
I mean, it's not something I would watch on my own time by myself. I mean, I did that once to prep for the new movie
Well,
because we're watching it for the podcast and that. But I wouldn't be like
yeah.
at home and I'll just be like, I'll throw on Paddington. No,
No, not like that. I'm more saying it in the
but like
sense that
if it's on like if you're at like your aunt's house and the kids have Paddington on and you're not allowed to change it, like I'm not like yeah, fine, sure, it's a good movie.
yeah,
Like,
I'm more
it could
talking
be
about it.
something worse. I'm
Yeah,
glad it's this.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm talking more of the sense that no matter who goes and sees this movie, I can't imagine some Facebook mom going on a rant about it or something like that. Like, there's nothing to be offended
Yeah,
by
it's
in this
just
movie. Like,
two
no matter
idiots in
which
their 20s ranting about it on YouTube. That's the only category of people talking about it these days.
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
I
no
know
one
what
to
you
get
mean.
offended by it. There's nothing to be offended by in this movie, honestly. Like, it's just good old-fashioned family fun, and that's something that is very refreshing to see coming back to theaters.
So, you know how like movies and TV shows they'll like make food look really good and
Yeah.
delicious, and like even if you've never heard of it or have never eaten it before, you're just like, "Oh, that looks really good. I want to try it."
Yeah.
Uh as I'm don't have that problem with Paddington. Marmalade looks absolutely gross. It's orange flavored jelly, which like anything that isn't grape flavored jelly doesn't deserve to exist. First of all, so yeah, I don't care. You can put it in
Honestly,
a sandwich.
I have the exact opposite reaction to this. I really want to have some
Nope,
fucking marmalade. It looks really
nope,
good.
nope. It doesn't. It's not even cool to say it. It's just a. It sounds like a nonsense word.
It
Marmalade
only
sounds
sounds
like
good.
something they eat. It sounds like something they eat in Whoville, and that's all I have to say about that.
I don't know. It just it makes me want to try it. It sounds delightful.
Okay. Well, you're allowed to have your opinion, but you're wrong. Anyways, we
On to the rankings.
onto the rankings. Like I said last time, highest number a movie for kids can really reach is about a 6 out of 10, and that's where it's gonna get. It's nice, wholesome, family fun. There's nothing wrong with it really. It is a decent kids movie, and I would be happy to let any of my kids or anyone else watch it. It's nothing wrong with it. No complaints.
So I'm right there with you. I'm giving this movie a 6 out of 10. It was just wholesome family fun entertainment, and I just enjoyed it. Like, I would absolutely, I would have taken my girlfriend's daughter to this with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this would have been great.
Yeah, if my nephew was old enough to go to the movies, this would have been a good pick for him.
Yeah.
Moving on to our last movie of the night, we have The Unbreakable Boy, starring Zachary Levi.
What did you say? Take it away.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. I only caught the Zachary Levi.
that's fine.
When Scott and Teresa learn that their son Austin is autistic and has brittle bone disease, they initially worry about his future. However, with Scott's growing faith and Austin's incredible spirit, they become unbreakable as they find joy, gratitude, and courage in the most trying times.
Nice. I felt I definitely felt that Zachary Levi's acting was the strongest point of this movie because
That's fair.
I mean, his character, that man got put through the fucking ringer. Like he's just been handed L
Oh,
after L after L after L after L, and he still found a way to pick himself up and like carry on and be a better person after everything.
yeah.
And
So what
props
I
for
like
that.
about what I like about there's two major things I like about this movie. One
Uh,
is that one is that uh the dynamic that happens at the beginning of their relationship, because it starts with the with like Austin's kind of narrating the whole movie, or
yeah,
Ozman as they call him, and they it's about two people who really like each other, but they go on a couple dates, and then she ends up pregnant. And so, first off, they now have to uh, start a family together, which is another big thing in today's media. You don't see all that often. Like people who they just have a baby, and now they didn't make it seem like they were stuck with each other. Is what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah,
they do that a lot in media nowadays, where it's like, she got pregnant, and now I'm trapped in this relationship with her.
yeah. No,
Like,
it's just like it was more of like oops, we rushed into this a little fast.
yeah,
But
but they
you
still
know,
like each
it's
other.
yeah, they still like each other, and eventually love each other. But it's like they weren't prepared to be thrown into the deep end, but they still wanted to be in the pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very it's a very nice dynamic, and the dynamic only gets more interesting as the movie goes on. But the other thing I really, really like about this is what you already brought up, is that we see what a father is supposed to be. Um,
Yes.
this man, this man is trying very hard. He's battling demons through the whole movie. And
Hmm.
like it shows, but he always tries. Like that's the big thing they keep bringing up in the movie, is like, cuz the big thing is he's an alcoholic.
Hmm.
Like that's what it is. Functioning alcoholic for the most part, but he's an alcoholic.
Well, he didn't
For the most part.
function so well that one time.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he like it's the but the but the his wife or whatever, I forget her name, Teresa, was it? Right?
Yeah.
Like
His wife or
she
whatever.
but like she keeps bringing up the fact that like she notices it, and her dad was like that.
Hmm.
But the thing that her sister keeps bringing up to her is that, well, he's still here. Like he's
Yeah.
still trying. And, like even after that one time, and she like throws him out, like he realizes the mistake he's made, and he does puts every effort he can into bettering himself for the sake of his own being, his faith, and his family.
Hmm.
Like it is such I don't want to say refreshing, but it's so nice to see that on screen.
Yeah.
Just a dad who is willing to do anything to help his family.
Yeah.
And that was the other
Especially
thing that
with
they Sorry, go ahead.
like especially with like all the problems with his son that he has to put up with. And I mean that by like the brittle bones syndrome. He's in the hospital like every 5 minutes in the movie.
By the
And
end of the
like
movie, he like the last number they say is like break number 45
yeah, and
or
like it
something like
like
that.
and he racks up quite a bit of hospital bills.
It was actually crazy, cuz like I liked that they also showed that people in this scenario, they fight. Like people in
Yeah.
any scenario, they fight. But they make it work. Or at least they try to make it work. Like they have
Hmm.
their arguments. But at the end of the day, like that's a normal thing. And that's something that isn't brought up a lot. Like growing up. Like especially when we were growing up. A lot of movies made it seem like relationships are either perfect or they're not. Like it's either a
Yeah.
good relationship or it's a bad relationship. It's not true. People fight, people argue, things happen. And it's nice to see that. The biggest one was when he has the three breaks all at once where they go on the swings. And it's
Yeah.
like I understand from one point where the mom is like where it's like it's never on my watch. It's always on your watch that he gets hurt. You ever notice that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And
I was kind of just like, damn, because like, what do you even say to that?
well, yeah, and at a certain point you can see that,
Yeah.
but you can also see it as he's trying to treat his son normal.
Yeah. Is that because you're
Like
better at watching him, or is is it that you baby him too much and don't let him do anything?
and neither is a bad answer either, is
Exactly.
in my
It's like
opinion.
it's not. It just
Like
happens.
it causes a big rift and like I'm happy that the movie that it wasn't that broke the camel's back in their relationship.
Right.
And I got super nervous. Like I got really nervous about when he started driving home at that time.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I thought that I didn't think I knew Austin wasn't going to get hurt. But I thought like they get in an accident and Austin and his dad would live and his brother and Austin's brother would die.
I don't know if they would have made the movie then.
True. But it's it I the only thing I didn't like about this, and it's literally just a personal preference. I didn't like seeing Zachary Levi being an alcoholic. That was a character type that this man has not had like ever. Like he's never played that, and it was very interesting the personal struggle I had going with that.
Okay.
like
I d-
like seeing him in that role was like it somehow made it even more grounded, if that makes sense.
yeah, because like he's such like a nice, positive guy in like everything that he's in and in real life. But then to see him take on a role that's like darker and flawed, it's kind of just like, whoa, this isn't
Yeah.
like anything I've seen. Um, but yeah, again, like he portrayed that very, very well, and they even made use of like one of my favorite like physical metaphors, and that's the ceramic jar with the golden cracks.
Yes.
Where back in I think it was Greece or something like that, when a
China.
piece of pottery, was it China?
China did that, yeah.
One of them.
China, Asia.
It
Asia,
was
something like that, yeah.
all right, Spec. When they had a piece of pottery break, they would fix it with melted gold in the cracks, so that it is now worth more and more valuable now that it has broken. So like it's almost better now than it was before. Um,
But it will never be the way it was before, is the big thing.
right. So but you're it's better now that it had gone through. Things get worse before they get
Yeah.
better is the kind of metaphor there. And
Yeah.
that's how he went through when he went off the deep end with his alcoholism, and then he turned to AA and brought himself back together again, and then he had the little broken ceramic teacup or whatever, and then painted the cracks gold, and I'm like, I like that. I like the use of that reference.
Yeah. It's interesting because the movie is called The Unbreakable Boy, and it's
Well, he
told
breaks a lot. I
by
mean, come on, guys.
okay. That's an interesting joke to make about this. Okay. but but the movie is very much about Zachary Levi's character.
Well, yeah, because it's about because it's based on the book that the dad wrote, and the dad is talking about his
Yeah.
life with his son.
Yeah.
Because if they
It's
named the movie The Unbreakable Boy's dad, they probably wouldn't get as much people.
true. But what I'm saying is that it's because it is still a lot about Austin. Like I liked the way they portrayed like the way his character he was. Like the big one was when he's talking about Tyler. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Why do you even want to be friends with him? He's bullying me." And he's just like, "Cuz he's sad." Cuz I noticed that
yeah.
he's sad and I want to
Please,
be his friend.
yeah, please don't go down that road because I've seen plenty of people, and this came up in Ezra too when we saw Ezra, is that people complaining just as like, oh, I hate when all the movies about autistic kids are actually about the parents. I'm like, well, what are the kids got going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's about
What
the
are they
growth
doing?
that the parent it's about the growth that the parent is going through having to
Exactly.
come to terms with this. Like I don't understand why it's a bad thing to overcome because it's one thing people talk about overcoming adversity when it comes to like their own personal struggles. But when it
Yeah,
comes to you struggling with the fact that your child is not going to be like all the other kids, they're not going to
is going to
have the
have
life.
challenges. Yeah,
Like you're struggling with the fact that someone else is going to struggle. Someone you
yeah,
care about is going to struggle. And people
and that's
don't
going to
seem to
be
think that's
on you.
okay. Yeah. But I really liked that the focus was on Zachary Levi. There was a great scene that I absolutely love. The movie starts with the night, as Austin calls it, the night everything broke.
Mhm.
Like we've been like hinting at it before with the he's going off the deep end and everything. Uh, there's a moment in the beginning of the movie because it starts at that night and then they kind of backtrack and eventually get back to that where he's standing in the bathroom, the dad, and
Yeah,
he's sitting there as like, "You are broken, my friend. Your moral compass is off." Like and he's like, "Who are you to criticize me?" Like he's having
yeah.
this
He's like
conversation
talking
with
to
himself.
himself in the mirror.
But then it flashes forward and throughout the movie you find out that he has an imaginary friend that he's talked to his entire life.
Hmm.
And in that moment he's actually talking to his imaginary friend.
Yeah,
And like
I I thought that was a
great
good storytelling tool. Like, yeah,
it
I'm
was.
aware that that he does have that in real life, but like as a narrative device, it also worked very well.
Yeah, cuz it's cool to think of someone and I love the fact that he was always there.
Yeah,
Like he's always there and he just sometimes like addresses him. But
mhm.
it's really interesting to have that ever-present character that only one character can see and you know only one character can see, but he acts like he's a part of the scene.
Yeah.
Like, it was very well done. Uh One other thing that I didn't realize about this movie, and it has to be the fact is that this movie must have been in production for a while, or at least post production for a while, because the kid playing Austin is 17 right now.
Well, he could have been like 15, probably at the most when they filmed it,
Maybe.
because he was like what? He was like 13 in the movie,
I guess, yeah.
12,
Something
13,
like
something
that.
like that.
By the time the movie was over, he was
I don't know. A
starting
better a
eighth grade.
better thing to do would to be look up when it was filmed. That would definitely give you an answer.
True, fair enough. Uh, I don't know. It doesn't say. I can't
Fair
find
enough.
it automatically. But
Well,
anyway, this was just a lot of. This is a very very fun movie, actually.
it
Like
was
there were
fun,
some moments that were very.
but it was also pretty heavy.
Yeah, like it was light at a lot of the times, and then not in some. One line that actually hit me really really hard. It hit me hard in the trailer, and like even used in the movie is like there's a moment where Austin is talking about like sometimes a happy moment feels sad and a sad moment feels happy, and that's what it's like to be me. But honestly, I've felt that so many times where you're
That's
like
because you're
in the middle of
autistic
a moment
too. It's just
there, but
I'm
like you know
joking
what I
around.
mean, where it's like that's true. Sometimes you can be in the middle of a really happy moment, and then something happens in your brain and just makes it sad. Cause
Mm.
like that made perfect sense for me. Cause in the trailer, the way I thought of it, I thought of it because they kind of frame it on his birthday when they say that, and like the dad is filming and he's smiling, and then he gets this like solemn look on his face, and it's like he's happy for his son because his son is happy, and it's like his son's birthday, but he's sad when he thinks about the situation he's in. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Maybe not the
He said
situation,
that
but
at
like
the he said that at the basketball
no, no,
game.
no. I'm saying in the trailer. In the trailer, they frame it
Oh well,
around like his
well in the
birthday.
trailer, it's just a trailer.
No, I get that, and like he framed it around like the mascot thing at the at in the movie. But it was always fun to see like his dad trying to go the extra mile for his son, but
Hmm.
also at the same time he's like kind of held back in
Yeah,
certain scenes as well. And it just this movie had a very good like again, like we could go on and on about the fact that
I
Zachary
would
Levi's
love
acting.
to not.
No, what I'm saying is that Zachary Levi's acting is the strong point, and that's really what we're getting at here. Like, it's hard to say. They keep wanting to say I like the way they progress this, totally forgetting that it's a real story.
Yeah,
It's not like they came up with this to make it go like this is what happened.
yeah.
Like it's an incredibly heavy movie,
Yeah.
and they portray everyone got portrayed very very well.
I agree. I think we should move into the rankings now. We definitely talked too much about this already. Um, I'm gonna give this a pretty decent 7 out of 10. You know, very good, acted very well by all parts. You know, nice movie. Light parts were light, dark parts were dark, but there was always a light to shine through those dark parts. You know, this is definitely something that my mom would enjoy much more than me.
Oh
It
yeah.
strikes me as something that a lot of people's moms would enjoy more than they would, but you know, I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I also am giving this a 7 out of 10. Not a very high one, but it's a very feel good movie, but also like it hits, especially for like me when it comes to thinking of the fact that like with me and my girlfriend, like that's a role that I will have to have eventually, and
Mhm.
I see things about fathers struggling, it kind of hits home for me a little bit.
But you know what, Isaac? It's always worth the struggle.
Yes, it is, and that's one thing that I feel this movie has a good takeaway on.
Yeah, is that no matter how hard raising a kid is, it's worth the struggle that it comes with.
Yeah.
All right, that should wrap up our podcast here. Mr. Isaac, what do we have to look forward to next time?
Yes, and next time we should have we have a couple movies on the docket. We're not certain exactly which ones we're actually going to go see, but we have a lineup of 4 different movies. We may have all of them, we might not. But we have the movie Last Breath. We have Mickey 17. In the Lost Lands, Dave Bautista's new movie that he's gonna be in, and then we found this weird movie called The Rule of Jenny Penn. Uh, it seems to be some sort of
Something.
something. I don't know. We read it, but that's what we have on the docket for now.
Alrighty then. Once again, guys, please subscribe to the channel because it keeps us going back to the theaters and bringing these movies back here to you. Please check out our Letterboxd accounts on screen now. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.
Roll credits.